Hey y'all, come on into my kitchen and have a seat at my table. When you get in your chair, go ahead and hit share because sharing is truly caring. If you haven't already, go to my YouTube channel, Little Trey's Kitchen. Click, comment, subscribe, and make sure you click the notification button so that you can be notified when I have new videos coming up. Today, we are going to make ramen. I know. Trey, anybody can make ramen. You just open the pack and put it in the water. No, we're going to make a restaurant style ramen. Something simple, quick, and easy. My mom used to call these struggle meals. And so we're gonna do her version or my now version of a struggle meal. And it's just a quick restaurant style ramen. I am using steak for my ramen today, but you can easily use chicken, pork, you can use the steak, you can use shrimp, or you can use tofu and make it a completely vegan or vegetarian style ramen. So let me go ahead and get started and show you what we're using today. Again, it's just me today, so I am asking for your grace and your patience. So bear with me as we get this going, okay? So here I have some garlic paste that I made. This is the garlic was like huge, y'all. So I'm using about 4 large cloves of garlic that I made my paste. I have some carrots and I have some onions and some celery and some shiitake mushrooms, and that's what I'm going to use today to make my ramen. And I also have some regular just 25, 30, the 35 cent ramen. We're not going to use the flavor packet. We're going to throw that out. So don't worry about it. We got some soy sauce. I also have some cilantro, some green onions, some broth, chicken and beef broth. But if you're making this vegetarian, you're just going to use vegetable stock. And I also have some water. And I have some red pepper flakes because we like spicy stuff in my household. And I have some sesame oil and some chili paste, garlic chili paste. And like I said, some soy sauce. If you don't want the chili paste, you can always do sriracha. Hey Reggie, how are you? So keep that in mind. You don't always have to do that. And the way that you make garlic paste, thanks Donna for reminding me to say it. I've said it before, but what you do is you just take the whole cloves of garlic, chop them up just a little bit, and add some salt. And then you take the side of your knife and you just on a cutting board, and you go back and forth just like this on your cutting board just to make the garlic paste. And I like to do that because I don't like to have whole chunks of garlic in my in anything. I like to be able to make it disappear. So I'm gonna bring you guys over to the stove where I have been heating some oil, and it is already on hot, so you can probably see some nice smoke action going on. So hold on, bear with me. I told you I'm doing this by myself. I'm solo today. So there we go. I'm gonna turn my fan on because it is smoking up something serious. I'm gonna add just a little bit more olive oil into my pot, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start off with the carrots. It's gonna get really loud in here just for a second, so bear with me. Just toss your vegetables in just like this, and this is just gonna be the broth, and then we're gonna put our noodles separately. You can actually cook your noodles and everything together if you like inside this broth. It's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not doing it because my family isn't eating until later today. And I say later today, more like when my husband comes home from work. So that's when we'll probably really eat. And so then I'll make all of this at the same time. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit. I'll make a pack, and my son will probably have this for dinner. That was hot, y'all. So what we're just simply going to do is get all of our vegetables in this pot and get them stirred up and get them cooking just a little bit. Want to make sure that they get nice and soft. Everybody doing okay? We can see everything's good. Oh, good. You guys got a good view. Here is what I already have my steak. This is a flank steak that I cooked, and underneath is a New York strip. I cooked 2 different types of steak because I wanted to see which one I was going to like better. And not to mention, we kind of like steak in our house. But if you wanted to, this could easily be chicken instead, or some shrimp, and you just cook it. Don't compete with the flavor of your broth. So when you're cooking your protein, just keep it simple. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. Don't try to go and add nothing fancy. I think today I put it was roasted garlic and roasted garlic seasoning from McCormick's, I think was what I used on the steak. Something that's not going to compete with all of this, but maybe add to what you're doing in this pot. So as you can see, the vegetables are just cooking. Got my onions in here, carrot, celery, and that garlic paste that I made. Y'all, if y'all could smell this smells, okay, I don't know how many times I've said it, but I'm going to keep saying it, and I'll say it again right now. If you ever want people to think that you know what you're doing, put some onions and garlic in a pot with some olive oil and start cooking. That is the best way to fill your house up with the scent, and people will think that you are cooking something fierce, that you actually know what you're doing in the kitchen. Now, I said this is going to be a struggle meal or a budget meal is what we're going to call it. We're going to call this our budget meal because our vegetables and things really didn't cost very much. The carrots, going to use 2 carrots and 2 celery stalks. And then I think my mushrooms is probably the most expensive thing that I bought. And I'm going to go ahead and add these. These are shiitake mushrooms. You don't have to add mushrooms, but my family, we like them. So we're going to throw them in just like that, because that's what my family likes. And we're going to cook all of this down. I almost forgot to add them. I just looked over there and saw that they were there. So sad. But that's okay. We're going to cook all of this down and get these cooked. And it's just going to add a nice little background note to it. You can also add a little ginger to this if you'd like, but it's not necessary. But this is the pot that I'm going to make my broth in. And again, if you're going to go ahead and you're ready to eat and you're making this for your family, then you're going to just add your noodles to this pot. But I'm not. I'm actually got a separate pot that I'm going to cook my noodles in. But I was telling you about this steak right here. I know you're probably saying, Trey, but steak is so expensive. It can be, but you're slicing them super thin. And I'll show you guys how thin we actually slice this. This piece of flank steak I actually got from the grocery store. And it was actually on the reduced for quick sale side of the meat department. And I know some of you are probably saying, but Trey, is that really good meat? And it really is. What they do is, if the meat is has a sell-by date of, let's say today's sell-by date, what they do is they go and mark it down because they can't sell it tomorrow. So they rather get something for it than nothing. So that's what they end up doing, is they mark it down. And that's what I go when I go buy sometimes. And I put it in the freezer, or I'll come home and cook it right then. It just depends on what it is that I'm doing and what it is that I'm looking for. But a lot of times I buy that meat and I put it in the freezer. I may sometimes call up my daughter and say, come get some of this meat out of my freezer so that I can get rid of it. And she'll come over and she'll get some. You guys see how this quickly cooked down. It didn't take long. While this is cooking down, I'm just going to go ahead, not that you have to, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw my noodles into this pot. I think these things are childproof now. I can't get into it. That's okay. That's why you have scissors. We're just going to cut open. I'm only using the noodles, guys, not the packet. We're going to throw that seasoning packet away because it's loaded with salt. And you don't want to add anything unnecessary to your pot. So we're going to throw all of that away. And we're just going to leave the noodles. This, too, is a quick meal. Because now that our carrots and everything has cooked down and our shiitake mushrooms have cooked down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and start adding our broth, okay? So we're going to start with a little bit of, this is chicken broth. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just pour this in. It's about 2 cups. 2 cups of chicken broth. You're gonna use about 2 cups of everything. So this is 2 cups of chicken broth is what I'm gonna use. Although my container is for 4 cups, I'm just using half. And then we're gonna take our beef broth and we're gonna add our beef broth. This is just adding some flavor, y'all. Nice flavor. And get our beef broth in. Again, we're just using half the box because this is actually 4 cups. We only want to use 2. Okay. And we're going to add some water, about 2 cups of water. There we go. And again, this is the broth that we're going to use to cook our noodles so that our noodles absorb the flavor of the broth, which is going to be really good. Get some of this cleaned up. While this is going, I'm going to also go ahead and add my red pepper flakes. Just enough. We like spicy, so I may add hell flakes later, who knows. But I am going to add the garlic chili paste because that's what I like. And we're going to add some soy sauce. I'm going to add a little soy sauce to this because that's what's going to give us a little flavor. Did I tell y'all thank you? Because I'm working by myself today, so thank you guys for being patient with me. This is low sodium soy sauce. So I'm just going to add, I don't measure. I've said that before. We're just going to add until I think the flavor is going to be right. But roughly about 5 tablespoons, give or take, just to add the umami flavor. Look at this, you guys. I'm going to taste it in a second because I want to make sure that it tastes right. And then we're going to add a little sesame oil to give it a little sesame flavor in the background. We're not going to add our we're going to add our garlic paste to the actual bowl. Be careful when you add sesame oil. A little bit goes a heck of a long way. It is really potent and really takes over or will take over. So you want to be really careful. You want to bring this up to a boil. Let it simmer just for a second or so. While it is doing its thing, I'm going to taste the broth because you want to make sure it's where you want it to be. So let's get in here and taste this broth and make sure it is where we want. Make sure we don't need to add anything. I'm thinking maybe some salt, maybe some pepper, or maybe not. Or maybe not. No, I will add some pepper because, oh my gosh, you guys, that is full of flavor. It is really, really good. I'm just going to add just a touch of pepper, not too much. Again, my family likes pepper. It is not spicy at all, even with the red pepper flakes. It is not spicy at all. Now, the one thing that I wish I had was some limes because I also like little lime juice to freshen it up. But we do have a little bit of cilantro that we will put on the top along with some sliced green onions. And I also have some boiled eggs. I know. I'm not particular when it comes to the boiled egg, soft boiled eggs, but I do like a nice, pretty boiled egg. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this broth into my noodles. I'm just gonna scoop some, and you want to make sure you get some of the vegetables in here too. Now, if you are just doing the broth and you're gonna put everything inside the inside your pot, then, and I say your pot, I mean if you're gonna add your noodles to, if you're adding your noodles to your broth, then you won't need to make this dual. I'm gonna switch eyes here so you guys can see what I've done here. All I did was simply add the broth because, and I'm gonna bring it up to a boil really fast so that we can go ahead and just pour this into our bowl and get our noodles and stuff going. While we're working on this, while we're waiting for this boil, because you know they say a watch pot never boils, but we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and get my egg cut open and clean up behind myself really fast. Be ready for my garlic paste. You guys, this is a really simple, easy meal. And if we had have known it was this simple when we were in college, then we probably would have stepped up our ramen game, right? How quick and easy is this if we would have known it was just this simple? But it's this simple to make a nice meal for your family. Quick and easy, not too labor intensive. The hardest thing was me probably cutting up the vegetables to put them into the pot. Other than that, things went fine. And making our steak, and we're gonna top the steak with our ramen with our steak once we get our noodles done. I probably should have had the noodles ready and this, but I wanted the flavor of the noodles to be the flavor of the broth. But if you're gonna do steak, I know we're kind of concerned and worried about making sure our steak is done. My family, we kind of like our steaks medium. We do. We like our steaks medium. So what I did is I made sure I undercooked it even more, because when this hot broth hits our steak, it's going to cook it and it's going to carry over the cooking. And so you don't want it to be overly done. Does that make sense? You don't want it to be dry. You want this to be a nice tender piece of steak. And so hence the reason why, if you're going to use flank steak like I did, you want to cut it on the bias. You don't want to cut it straight on like this. You want to cut it on an angle like that. So make sure you do that. And if you're doing chicken, go ahead and cook the whole chicken breast and then thinly slice it. I know that Kroger, I believe, carries thinly shaved chicken. I've not used it, but you could definitely use that. And if you're going to do chicken, but if you can, just buy the chicken, cut it up yourself, season it lightly with salt, pepper, and a little garlic powder. Don't compete with the flavors of your broth that you're already making. Keep it simple. I know. Remember that back in school they used to say KISS? Keep it simple, stupid. But I'm not calling nobody stupid, so just keep it simple. Don't overdo it. Just don't overthink the process. It's not that hard. Again, we had carrots, onions, we had mushrooms, celery, and the garlic paste that I made. Thank you so much, Claude. And I used 2 cups of chicken broth, 2 cups of beef broth, 2 cups of water. That simple. And then I added a dash or so of sesame oil, and I added give or take maybe 5 tablespoons of soy sauce. I don't use recipes. I just put it in and until I think that it's right. And then I taste it to see if I like it. And if I like it, I stop. And if I don't like it, I keep going until I figure out the best thing. For me, when I think about recipes, other than baking, I believe that when you do a recipe, it's someone else's idea of how they think your food should taste. No one is a better judge of how your food should taste other than you. So that's the reason why I don't really give recipes. I don't really have a recipe. I just add it until I think it's right. And then once I think it's right, then we go from there. And again, the steak, if you're using it, undercook it, because when the hot broth hits it, then it's going to continue to cook, and you don't want it to be tough when you go to eat your ramen. And what you could do, what I'm going to do in my bowl is how you can do it in your pot. So when your family comes to eat out the pot, or you serve it, however you serve it, if you are going to put it in a huge bowl, then wait and top everything once you get it in the bowl. And you'll see how I do that in just a second. But if not, then just put everything in the pot. Once you get your noodles in and your noodles are cooked, then layer your meat and sprinkle your onions, add your chili paste, add your cilantro, and eat as a family at the table. That's just how I like to do it. But today, for you guys, I'm going to simply plate my bowl or plate my food, and then you guys can see exactly how I do it. If you are looking to make this vegan or vegetarian, make sure you use tofu if you're going to do tofu. Or you can use seitan, or I think it's temp. You can also use some temp from, I think Whole Foods has it. But I'm not a tofu girl, but I do like temp and I do like seitan. So I would do that and use definitely use vegetable broth instead. And then load it up on all the vegetables you want. You can do peas, you can do carrots, you can do corn. Load it with vegetables so that you can make this a satisfying meal. It's not that hard. This is simple and it's a quick, easy meal for your family. I'm doing it. It's not really I like pho, so this is ramen and pho is one of my go-to meals that I like and I enjoy. And it's better than using that seasoning packet that you have. So because it's raining here in Atlanta today, it's raining. It's been raining for a couple of days. And so I wanted something that was more comforting. I made chili last night for dinner and my husband said, oh yeah, that's your go-to. So I wanted to do something different. But last night was about convenience, and it was just stuff that I didn't have to go to the grocery store and get. I just had it already on hand. And so today it's intentional. He's going to be surprised. He's going to say, oh, your other go-to meal or something. I don't know. Thanks, Dwayne. I appreciate you. So let me check these noodles. I don't think they're ready just yet. I think we have a few more minutes. They are getting kind of soft. I don't like to disturb the noodles when I'm making my ramen. Is that weird? I kind of like to see the whole, I know, Joni, pho. I kind of like to see the whole noodle packet still sitting there. I'm going to stir up our broth while I'm standing here. You guys, if you guys have smelled this broth, it is so good. When you make it, you're going to be like, dang, Trey was right. I promise you. Please make this. This is something you probably already have all of these ingredients somewhere in your house. Even if you don't have the carrots and the celery, I know y'all got a packet of ramen somewhere in your house. I know y'all do, because that's what we do. We keep those are maybe our go-to. Whew, I'm hungry. I'm gonna make this ramen, and you sprinkle that packet, and you try to add some more stuff like some butter or some garlic powder, some stuff, and you try to fix it. Now, do this. Really simple, really easy. Add some flavor, even if you are deciding to make the ramen as it is in the pack. Don't use water. Change it up. Add some broth. It's so much simpler. It adds a little bit more flavor. Throw some sesame oil, some soy sauce. I promise you, this meal today for my family is probably less than $20. Feeding a family for less than $20. I promise you. I want you guys to try it. My noodles is getting there. When I tell y'all, I could probably eat this broth without anything. No noodles, no nothing. This broth right here is a meal unto itself. Just a meal unto itself. Our noodles are almost there. And I don't like my noodles too mushy. I like them like I like my pasta, a little al dente. So that's what I'm shooting for right now. So let me show you guys where I am with my noodles. Can you guys see that? Yes. There we go. Y'all see our noodles? I like my noodles to be a little bit al dente. I don't like them to be overly cooked. But when you guys look at this broth, look at it. Oh, I took it off camera. But look at the broth. It is so pretty and so nice. We're going to let it cook a little bit further. And this is the actual broth that has been simmering. I'm just going to continue to let it simmer. I'm actually going to just put the lid on it. Put a lid on it and turn it down. And you can always add more broth. You can always add more broth to this. So I'm going to put that lid on there. And I think I am actually excited and ready. I am excited and ready to do this. So I'm going to bring my bowl closer so you guys can see. And I'm going to back you guys up just a little bit. We're going to see if we can work this out and show you guys my bowl instead. I told y'all, I'm working by myself, so be patient. So now all I'm going to do is take my bowl and I'm just going to pour everything in just like that. And I'm going to top it with the rest of these vegetables. Now, take my chili paste. I'm going to add some chili paste to our ramen. Just a little bit more because I like spice. There we go. Now we're going to nestle our eggs in. Y'all see I got my chopsticks ready. Gonna nestle my eggs in. Let's grab my eggs. Get them nestled in. Get some of our what is this? Our onions. And I'm going to gather some of our steak. I want it to be. Gather some of our steak. I'm going to add our steak in just like this. And then we're going to take some cilantro. We're just going to put our cilantro right here. Uh-oh. And there we have it. We have our ramen bowl. This is our ramen bowl. Y'all see this? Nice. Uh-oh. That's rather hot. I'm going to take you guys down so you can see our ramen bowl. And here is our ramen bowl. Can you see that? Nice ramen bowl. Uh-oh. Did I tell you I was doing this by myself? Yes. That's my ramen bowl. So now I'm going to go ahead and taste it. Give me 1 second. This bowl is hot, so I'm not going to pick it up. We're just going to grab some of this. Get some of our noodles. Get our noodles on here. I like to see our whole noodles. Get our noodles as if I was eating it out of the restaurant. And get some broth on my thing, on my spoon. And here we go. Ready, guys? Yo, my son came in and picked up the phone. My son came in to try to help me. He was hearing me in there struggling. So here we go. Here's our noodles. You guys, this is a meal. Something simple, quick, and easy. Got our noodles, got our ramen, our broth. Again, oh, I forgot y'all. I was about to keep going.
You're mirrored.
Beef broth, water, chicken stock. Beef broth, celery, onions, carrots, shiitake mushrooms, garlic paste, soy sauce, and some sesame seed or sesame oil in a pot. Mix it up. Get your protein of choice: pork, steak, chicken, salmon, shrimp, whatever you like. Make this. This is quick and easy. Add a boiled egg. Listen, guys, this is good. I'm gonna go curl up on the sofa, turn on the TV, and watch some Hallmark while it's raining. And I'm gonna eat this bowl of ramen. Hopefully you get a chance to make this. If you do, tag me in it. Let me see your version of this ramen. Thank you so much for allowing me to cook for you. Until next time, big hugs and tight squeeze. Bye, guys.